Hello, welcome. This is our Pones Youth Apprentice Dance Crew for summer 2024, and we are so thrilled to be here with you today. Let's start by going around the table and just quickly introducing ourselves. I'll start to my left.
Hello, I'm Hattie. I'm a teaching artist.
I'm August. I'm an apprentice.
My name is Gus, and I am an apprentice.
My name is Timothy, and I'm also an apprentice.
My name is Mari, and I'm an apprentice.
My name is Malia, and I'm an apprentice.
My name is Wilbur, and I'm an apprentice.
Hi, I'm Riley. I'm a second-year apprentice.
Hi, I'm Alexandra, a teaching artist this year, and with Riley was an apprentice last summer with the 2023 dance crew. And yeah, here we go.
Okay, maybe let's start, and whoever wants to hop in on this question, can you talk a bit about what we've learned so far? What murals we're working on, and any other things that you've learned in our time together so far. So this is our fourth week together. So what have we learned?
We are working on choreographing for two murals. One is about South Indian culture and mandalas, and then the other one is about donating organs to save lives. And I know I personally have learned a lot, both about South Indian culture and how organ donation works. A lot of things I didn't know before, so that was really cool.
What I learned today was that you can only donate. You can only donate if the recipient the recipient can receive the organ from your blood type. And also, I learned that you have to be brain dead for you to be able to donate an organ. You can't be your whole body can't be dead. You have to be just brain dead.
What I learned so far is that both of the murals that we're working on, like when we've talked to people and had like the background and stuff, it's like a lot of community-based aspects, like within both of the murals. Like with the Life Center one, it's just like they have to go around in the community and, educate people about it and get people to feel like safe with it. And then with the mandalas, it's just like it gave Radha a sense of like a family, and it was like her happy thing to do every morning.
Speaking of Radha, the mandala murals, we learned are passed down traditionally from like a mother, grandmother, etc., which hits close to home since I lost my grandmother this year, and I think that's very beautiful and a beautiful way to keep the family traditions alive.
I'm very excited for both murals for very different reasons. I'm excited for the mandala mural because I myself am also South Asian, so like learning more about a culture that's similar to mine but not exactly the same is really cool, and I'm excited to see how to put some of those like cultural aspects as well as the community aspects into the choreography. And similarly, I didn't really know anything about organ donation before today, and just seeing how like people can be scared to trust places that do help people donate organs. I'm interested to see how we can use like an aspect of trust within our choreography to hopefully help save lives. That would be really cool.
So far, we've done a lot of, background and prep and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just super stoked to start, the chunk of it.
Gus, will you maybe talk a little bit about some of the ideas for choreography inspiration we had around the mandala? Maybe you were talking about this idea of like starting from the center and spreading out, or do you have some memories around our brainstorm that you could bring to it?
A little.
Okay.
I had an idea that like part of the choreography is getting inspiration from an actual mandala. Like the dances could start from the middle going out like a building sort of thing.
Okay,
Similar to Gus, I'm also very excited about like beginning with the creative process in the form of like creating the dance itself and also costuming the dancers. I'm really interested in that. I'm going to be a costume designer at my school this year, and I feel like it'll be a very, very fun time, like practicing, like making costumes for Pones as well, whether it's like the Indian mural or the organ donation. Like what we take inspiration from is going to be really interesting to me. Like we were talking about having, I believe it was lotus inspiration for the Indian mural, and like just exploring like how we can incorporate that in our design. The main colors we were thinking about were, I believe they were used most commonly in mandala making, like the natural spices, I believe, right? If that's correct. So red, oranges, yellows, whites, and then pinks of like the lotus and like whites and like a lot of like warmer colors.
Something that I'm personally excited about is being able to like create the dance itself, and that everyone's going to be able to play a part in how we take the ideas and things from our mural and being able to educate the general community about them so that they can just have more knowledge, especially for the Life Center one. Maybe it'll inspire some people, like our dance and the mural itself will inspire people and maybe convince people to like go donate organs or maybe sign up to be an organ donor. And I think that's really, I think the impact that we could have is really interesting and pretty nice.
Talk about, Wilbur mentioned collaboration, just in general, this idea of collaboration, how it pertains to you or this project.
I would like to add, because like we're doing like the dance part of it, but there's another group doing the the painting of it. So like we're collaborating with them to make the dance, the mural pop out basically and make it become like lifelike. And also I would like to add, like how she said, culture, like there's going to be different cultures incorporated into one big thing.
Bouncing off of that thought, what we typically do is we help activate murals, is what we call it. So there's one mural that's already painted, and then there's one that is being painted this summer, and we work in collaboration to activate both of those murals and bring them to life into the community.
I also think it'll be really interesting to see like our internal collaboration as a dance group, whether like in the creative process, like using all of our experiences and what we've learned, just to come together and create like a wonderful art piece to activate the murals. And whether it's kicking off like the mural, like with the ones that are being painted now, or it's like, I guess, relighting the creativity for already created murals. I think that's going to be really interesting.
So for me, it's definitely the mandala mural. I just loved everything that Radha was talking about. I was really interested in like learning about it and just the culture. I feel like it spoke more to me than what we talked about today. It was still very interesting, but I just feel like I'm more connected to the mandala, just like the family aspects and all of that stuff. And then also, it's just really pretty. And I feel like it's going to be such a pretty dance for us to make. We're going to get to wear such beautiful colors, add beautiful things. And I'm really excited to choreograph part of the dance because I have a lot of ideas already.
I'm really excited about both of the murals, but I think the Life Center speaks out more to me. I guess with the organ donation and like learning more about how the body functions, I've had like, I guess 2 incidences in the past where like my family members have been affected by like not brain injuries but more so brain diseases. Like I brought this up during the presentation, but my grandma was diagnosed with CJD, which it's like a 1 in a million disease where half of the brain shuts down, the right side of the brain. So she couldn't move exactly, but she could like still perceive everything going on around her. So like I could like make her laugh and everything, but she couldn't respond back. So that was pretty tough for me. And then like as well as my aunt is going through like chemotherapy for brain cancer. So I feel like I've got like a lot of connections to like learning about how the brain functions and everything. That's really interesting to me.
Thank you for sharing these collaboration phases and connecting and finding where we all individually connect to the murals. Could we maybe touch upon the statement that we've created and how we've connected in that way? August, if you're comfortable talking about like how we started writing that.
Our statement that we created: we are dancers who bring art to life. We are Pones creators, artistic and movement educators, and legends leaving a legacy. Our goal is to help people understand the beauty of dance, bring awareness and inspire conversation, bring a sense of community through differences, reflect and inform, teach and learn, allow people to connect to cultures, form creative vessels within our heads and our hearts, and hold space for shifting perspectives. This matters and is important because Cincinnati is growing more diverse in perspective. Dance allows for alternative forms of education, allows for a visceral and perspective. Dance allows exploratory way to interpret and feel and understand dance. Understand art. Dance is another way to express and elevate the mural story, and we pick up pieces of our environment for everyone to see. We light up like a flare and allow others to light up like a flare. We create a cooperation that goes so easy. We hold space to listen, to learn, and build respectfully with one another actively. Dance brings connection. Many can resonate with it. I created the leaving a legacy with like legends thing because like my grandma kind of inspired me because she had like a stroke, and she was like laying down on the floor, and then they found her and put her in a one of those homes, and she had to recover. She just kept falling over, and it was really sad, but she got better. She started like talking more. One day when she dies, she'll be leaving her legacy to her family and her like children. And my cousin also died. I don't know how. He did a lot of sports and stuff. We went to his funeral. That was the first funeral I went to. It's really sad. But, we all like cried through it and stuff. So, yeah.
I can speak to when you all wrote that part about a legacy. To me, that felt like such a gift because when I started Pones, which was 15 years ago, my dream is that it would continue, right? And I was young then and thought, I'll dance forever. But now as I get older, I realize there'll be a time to how long I can dance and create. And so to me, it's beautiful to see how well taken care of this space, this intersection of dance and social justice is going to be because of you all who will be the legacy, right? You'll be the future of this type of work. So that's such a gift that you all bring to me throughout this process.
Yeah, just continuing with this theme of legacy, I think it's really powerful that August decided to incorporate that into the statement because we can now keep this legacy going with Pones, with this Apprentice program, and seeing that every single person contributes to their own legacy and the legacy of a community. And so the impact that we'll make this summer together as a team and as a unit will, we hope, inspire other peoples to see the legacy in others and continue that theme and pattern, and just bringing more compassion and bringing more empathy and creative collaboration.
Since we talked about our grandmas, I gotta say something. My grandma said, "So look at you." And my cousin said this at her funeral, and she goes, "Mama always said don't cry in public."
Oh my gosh, you can cry here.
I'm just like, oh. We got a little deep there. I'm also about to cry too.
I dance to show people what it's like to be true to yourself. Like when you move, it's like a flow of oxygen running through like every vein in your body, and it's like it's a really nice feeling to have because you feel free.
Do we all feel free while dancing? Like that experience of freedom?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I was gonna say, like, as an artist, or I've always thought, like, whether you're an artist or whatever you choose to do in the world, like, you can help out the world by choosing to do what you love, because, like, you can fully be yourself, and that's where you would be most happy, and that's kind of what the world needs for you to do. And for me personally, like, you know, when I do my art, I'm very happy, and it's something that I can see myself doing for the rest of my life. And I see that through my art, there's a way to help the world by creating art to fight social injustices and just create a better space for everyone. So that's definitely a reason I create my art. And I think, like, when I first started dancing, first I felt like joyous doing it, and I first did it for joy, and now I feel like it's such a blessing this is like the first time I've ever had a job where I can dance for social justice, and I just think that's such a blessing. So
I started dance when, I don't know, maybe, like, I was really young, and it was, like, before I started, like, going to real school, so I was, like, maybe 4. So, and I've always loved doing dance, and then one day, my aunt, she got shot, and we went to the hospital. We went to the hospital, and I find, like, every time I'm in a stressful situation, I just dance. So we went to the hospital, and in the, like, waiting room, I was just there dancing. And then I remember my mom, she comes out, and she goes into, like, this separate room, and they tell her, like, my aunt is gone, and I just start dancing. I don't know. So my uncle, he took me home, and then I just danced the whole night. And then I was just, like, it took the pain away. So when I went to her funeral, they started playing, like, music, and her favorite song was Diamonds by Rihanna. So I just was like, I just started singing and dancing. I got up on the stage, and then, yeah. So it just takes, like, the stress away from my life, and it makes me happy.
I didn't start dancing until a couple years ago. I've had a really complicated relationship with art and dance because it's something that I can envision myself doing for the rest of my life, but it's also very taxing on me. Just because of how my brain functions, I'll just keep going until I can't go anymore. And so, I did a lot of activities as a little kid trying to figure out where exactly I fit. I did karate, and I did gymnastics, and I did dance. I did ballet for, like, a season, a year. But I didn't really figure out what kind of, body movements I enjoyed and what kind of dance I enjoyed until I started doing the color guard, actually. And so, like, after I started doing that, I actually became, like, motivated to dance, like, outside of what I was, outside of the extracurriculars I was doing, and just doing it at home. And so I kind of really have, like, marching band and color guard to thank for my ability to be able to let myself go and, like, dance.
Also, I like to add something else as to why I like to dance. So also, I've done cheer since kindergarten, and if you know cheer, like, I've done competitive cheer, so we did competitions and stuff, and it just always made me happy because my coaches were, like, they were my aunts, so, like, I was favorites. So they, like, they let me make up parts of the dances, and we would, like, always win competitions. So that was another reason why I really enjoyed dancing. And also, when I went to SCPA, that was
Can't see your face on the microphone.
That was a major that I did, and I really enjoyed it, but my time was cut short because I had knee surgery. So it was doing, like, we did virtual, so we couldn't really do anything. So he gave me, like, leniency. He was like, you can dance next year if you want. I was like, no, I think I'm gonna try something else. But that's, like, a decision I really regret because I really did like dance, but I was just like, I don't know, because of the problems that I was having physically. But now that I look back at it, I'm like, maybe I should have danced. Maybe I could have stayed at SCPA. But yeah, that's another reason why I like dance.
So we're kind of talking about our backgrounds with dance, and we all have very different backgrounds when it comes to dance. Does anybody want to kick off the conversation regarding accessibility with dance? Oh, no.
Go ahead.
I'll just say what you're going to say.
My teacher at SCPA for dance was Mr. Goodlet too. He was a really awesome teacher. We used to make fun of him because he was balding, and and he ate too many of those weird peanut butter pretzels, and yeah. And then we had a lot of great people in that class. Really funny. You know, they used to make fun of my friend Billy. He smelled.
What made him such an awesome teacher?
Just the fact that he was like really helpful and smart. I mean, it was an elective for me, but I felt like I was really in that as a major.
One of those two is debating on the mic first.
So I want to touch a little bit on just being a black dancer and also being a very tall dancer. I was always in the back no matter what. And a lot of the times, like I used to do ballet. And in ballet, there's like a lot of things like about like body type and how you're like built. And I wasn't technically built for ballet. So that had a lot of like, that made me stop doing ballet because I felt like I didn't belong in ballet. Most of the people that I danced with when I was younger were white. They were like mainly white, especially in like my ballet classes and my jazz classes. Sometimes in my hip hop class, there would be some people of color, but like it would still be mainly white people. I really liked that I got into majorette because that's when I really felt like accepted. Like those people actually wanted me there because when I was doing ballet, it was kind of like almost a divide. Like they wouldn't say they didn't want me there, but it kind of felt like they didn't. I don't think I would ever do ballet again. It's just kind of like, it caused like a trauma with it, like not feeling like you belong somewhere because you look a certain way. But I really do like ballet. Ballet is pretty fun.
I was gonna say I started dancing at like 15, and before that I played basketball and like did a lot of other types of sports, I guess. And yeah, with accessibility to dance, it was interesting. My mother was I believe a Kenyan dancer in Sri Lanka. And I think I really wish that there was some type of dance like that here, like a studio I could learn something like Kenyan dance. Because like I learned like, you know, ballet, hip hop, and and I love hip hop. But a lot of the forms I had learned also felt very Eurocentric, which I mean it makes sense with like the area we're in, but it's also hard to find things that are affordable. I feel like I'm really, really lucky that like at the school that I go to, they allow someone with my major to take dance. I like go to a conservatory where if you're a dancer, you take the dance classes, and if you're an acting major, you take the acting classes. So I'm lucky to have found a way to be able to take some dance classes there. But outside of that, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to find a studio where I feel like I can spend that type of money and still stay afloat financially. So I'd say financially as well as like just types of dance, it can be hard to find a good fit.
I would love to bounce off of this. I grew up in the middle of Kentucky. I did not have access to dance classes. There was one studio in my hometown, and it was not that good. And my mom said, "You didn't learn anything there, so we're not going there." And then if I wanted to go to a good studio, I'd have to drive 45 minutes to an hour away. And I don't think my mom wanted to pay that money. I don't blame her. So I came up to college, was able to take dance classes at college, discovered I loved it, and now I take dance whenever I can. But again, it's inaccessible due to financial reasons, so not everybody can do dance if they want to. And also there is a certain stereotype within dance culture that you have to fit a certain mold, like you had to be a certain body weight, body height, body this, body that. bouncing off of the majorette, I have learned majorette stuff from kids that I teach, and it's awesome. Like, I go in there, they're like, can we learn majorette? And I'm like, I don't think I'm the right person to teach you that, but you can teach me that, and I think that is beautiful. There are, honestly, a lot of moves in majorette that are similar to ballet moves or within the same realm, like the high kick, but then they call it something different. So I guess that kind of makes it more accessible too, but then trying to learn, okay, this move can be a little complicated, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Mari, Dinathy, and Hattie are bringing up really important topics and stories and points overall, because going back to a bit of what Mari and Dinathy were talking about, with only certain dance styles being available or them being too expensive, and even Hattie bringing that up too, I think a lot of areas in the United States where dance studios are, they tend to only offer those dance styles that have that Eurocentric lens and background, so ballet, jazz, maybe tap, which is definitely a more US based dance style, but even maybe having a little bit of modern or contemporary, but oftentimes those spaces close off a lot of other dance styles that are so crucial to culture and background. And I just graduated from Miami University, but we have a class there in our dance program called Dance is Culture, where we begin to learn about a lot of dance styles that come from all different areas of the world, and how we can integrate those into studios so that different kinds of communities and different people feel that they have a space to express their background, express their history and culture, and also be supported in that process. And what was I going to say next? I think it's important to realize too, and to recognize that within the studios that take up a lot of space in the US, it's like if you aren't able to do those specific styles, ballet, jazz, tap, contemporary, or whatever, then sometimes you aren't considered a dancer, which is really dangerous and also extremely heartbreaking, because there's countless styles and countless forms of dance. So choosing to educate ourselves on important new styles that maybe we haven't heard of before, or trying to integrate spaces so the styles can come together, is really important. And I think that's a need we're all expressing and something we're recognizing. And I think we're lucky to be able to be in a space where that is prioritized within Pones, and Pones is very passionate about that, which is really exciting to see what the future of dance communities can be.
Okay, so back when I went to my old school, we had this one dance teacher. She wasn't like the older kid. She was like younger kids, like specials teacher. And her name was, I'm not going to say her name because I forgot her name.
We don't need a name drop anyway.
And like how Mari said, like she had like, I feel like there was certain girls that she didn't like and certain girls that she did like. Like I had this one friend, she was like, I guess the stereotypical ballerina basically. So she was like, the dance teacher, she favoritized, like I had no problem with her, but she favoritized her, and she was like, this girl was like always like the main person like on stage. Like there would be everybody, and then the dance teacher would just put her in the middle. So she would be like the main focus. And growing up and noticing that, I felt like I wasn't wanted in the dance area. But then like once I got older and I got to like middle schoolish, like 6th grade and 5th grade, and I got the other dance teacher, he was like, he was different. Like he included everybody how they needed to be included. And he was like very tolerant. Like he was tolerant, because we had a bunch of kids who just would skip class. Like they would literally sit outside the dance room and just skip class. So he was like a teacher, like everybody loved him. Like I don't think there was one person that didn't like him. And I loved that for him, because he was like always there for you also. Like he was I would say he was a father figure, but he was a teacher though. I don't understand how to explain it, but like you get what I'm saying. Yeah.
I have a follow-up set of questions.
Sorry, Amy. Going back to what Alexandra was saying about the different art forms, I think it's very fascinating. Specifically, tap comes specifically from Black culture, and somehow it has been integrated into this idea of Eurocentric dance, and I think that is disheartening. And I love seeing when Black culture is able to take that back and make it primarily theirs. Okay, that's all I was saying.
Yes, tap. Thank you. Yeah, I think these are really important stories. I'm really happy that we're like documenting them. We'll have it as like this capsule to remember not only for the summer but into the future. And I have a question that's kind of like 2 parts. The first part is like, what would the world be like without dance and movement? And then the second part of that question is like, what value does movement add to the human experience? Like what is this all about? And can we talk about that like broad, that's kind of broad picture, that's big world stuff, but can we talk about that for a second too? Thank you.
The world without dance would be boring, very boring. We wouldn't have like all the stuff. Well, most of the stuff we have now, like Mr. Goodlet, probably being vocal.
Be a male person.
Oh,
You'll be a what?
A male person.
Delivery man? Like USPS? You know what? That's a good job though. So my dad's a mailman.
He just reminds me
Oh.
of him.
Yeah, what would the world be like without dance? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
it would be boring. Yeah, boring.
A world without dance would be like, it would be, I don't like, it would be expressive because like there's other art forms, but it wouldn't be like you can understand it. Like you have to, like you can't like physically show how you feel. You have to write it down or draw it. And like a world without dance would just be like, I don't know. It just doesn't sound right. Like it wouldn't be right. That's like a world without light or a world without TV. Like it's just not right. And also entertainment wouldn't be there. Like most of the movies that we see and watch, there's mostly dance or incorporated dance in it. So for there not to be dance, what is there?
Like has been stated multiple times, it would be like bleak and bland. But I don't think a lot of people realize how many things have dance in them. We wouldn't have a lot of theater productions because a lot of them incorporate dance. They would have music, but you can't really do much with the music if you don't have movement to incorporate it on a stage. And so, like, you can have the music there, and you can have other art forms, because they would other art forms would still exist, but like dance and movement helps show like what exactly you're trying to convey. Like you can have a sad song, but sometimes it can be hard to understand if that song is sad without showing it's sad, without like being able to physically see the turmoil like portrayed by that person. And it's also hard to portray that with happiness or anger at all as well, because say you want to add something?
We're all excited about this.
But like it would also be harder to show other emotions as well, because like we've talked about before, you have the different levels of where you are. So like you wouldn't be able to like go big. You'd only be able to do it in like regular like motions that would normally be used in nonverbal communication, but you wouldn't be able to like put it into a movement. And it would just make a lot of productions really boring to listen to and watch.
I was also going to address theater with this. I feel like it's a very different environment when you're like listening to music, because listening to theater music is like one of my favorite things to do. But it is a very different experience when you're just listening to the music versus seeing it like on the big stage. You can like feed off of the actor's energy and really like it brings the piece to life. It's really inspiring to see that. And I think without dance in theater, you could still appreciate the music, but it adds so much more, like Wilbur was saying. It's just very cool.
Gus, I know you've been in a lot of shows and have danced a lot throughout your life. Is there any thoughts you have about like what your life or upbringing would look like if that wasn't part of it?
Honestly, I have like no idea where I'd be if like dance didn't exist, because it's such like a main part of like my existence. You know, like I feel like dance is just another way to express what you're feeling. Like the phrase, your actions speak louder than words sometimes. And also, like when I'm dancing, it's kind of like an escape where I don't have to. When I'm dancing, I don't really think about anything besides like what I'm doing. So I feel like that's just a way to like stop when I'm like just to be present in the moment, you know?
It's just such a big part of like how everybody expresses themselves and like shows up in their culture. It's like taking away the food from the culture. Like it would just be like so indifferent. Everybody would be kind of the same without it.
You said what I was gonna say.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was going to say in every culture there's a specific type of dance that you can spot, and it's a very natural way for people to show their culture, and it's also just a very natural way of expressing how you're feeling, who you are. Like, I don't think I could listen to music and not do a little two-step, you know, like step touch. Like, it has to happen.
One other thing about that, we would lose a huge portion of what storytelling is, because since it is represented in every single part of the world and every single culture in so many different ways too, you know, in religious or spiritual ceremonies, in funerals, in birthdays, in weddings, and all kinds of major life events, we would lose a huge way of expressing stories and how to bring those to life even more. And we would use a universal language, because dance, music, art is a universal language. And even though, you know, every single person has differences, there are so many similarities, and dance allows for that kind of intimate connection.
We're reaching the edge of this wire. Also, I like really love these responses. I was tearing up a bit because I think it's a really important conversation. The body is like our first home. It's where we live our whole lives. And so then to even imagine humanity without special ways of moving the body is kind of impossible, I think, really. And I love to see something that feels really essential to me about movement and dance is that it's our way of integrating things through the body, moving our expression. Like we've heard a lot about feelings, and we keep talking about feelings as a team, that like this is a way to express ourselves. Collectively, when we put our bodies together in motion and choreography, then we get storytelling, and storytelling is essential. I do think also that we live in a kind of broader culture that's really head-based and super intellectual, and or like stuck in the thoughts, stuck in the mind. And sometimes I notice people need opportunities and invitations to relearn, oh, I have a whole body. Like there's arms here, there's a belly here, there's feet here. And what do they want to do to, like, what does my body want to do to express my life and my story and my culture? And then what have people before me done? And so there's also this thing where it's like, there's actually a huge part of the Western world that has forgotten about movement and forgotten about the body and forgotten how to stay engaged that way. And so I think also the work that you're doing this summer, that we're doing this summer, is also important
and that it's reminding us that like art isn't just made with the hands or the mind, that being a human in community together isn't just something we talk about, it's something we do physically too. And so movement and storytelling to me feel like pretty essential to being a human. And I think our culture needs as many reminders of that as humanly possible.
I think I also just wanted to say that like dance is like health-wise good for the body and the mind, and I feel like not a lot of things that are good for both the mind and the body, so that's really cool.
There's something that I learned recently that I think is very interesting, and I think it also applies to dance. So within a community, there are hundreds of different accents depending on where you like live, and each family has their own accent because they have things that they say that make sense to them, but that someone else from like next door wouldn't understand. And so I think dance is really similar, where like every single family or friend group or like school has their own way that they would dance that like people wouldn't understand where those movements come from. And I think that's really interesting.
Also, I would like to add, like, so I know, like, it's not just the black community, but in the black community, there's a common misconception that, like, some types of dance are, like, I know, like, the way that you do it, it could be, like, bad, but, like, maybe, like, I don't know if I should say, like, twerking, basically.
I knew it. I knew it.
Like, it didn't start as something, like, to show your body off. It started as like a dance, like just to like express yourself. But then it came like that's the same like a lot of different types of dance. Like it came like when it started, it was like to just be fun and express yourself. But now like once it's like evolved, people like they connect it to something different. Like they think it's like meant to make yourself, like, I don't really know the word for it, but, like, make yourself basically, I don't know the word, but do you guys get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so maybe, like, we can, like, do something to, like, express, like, make people understand, like, what different types of dance is, and make them, like, understand, like, we can't make anybody do anything, but, like, help people to understand, like, some things they were not rooted to be as bad as people make them nowadays. And, yeah.
So, in our last few minutes, we open to the circle, right, by introducing ourselves. Let's close it, and I'll give you a second, because I have to think on this too. Just like one or two words, don't focus too much on it being just one word. If there's a phrase, that's cool. Around your experience, either so far, with this project, with this group, or your anticipated experience, right? Kind of a word or a phrase that sums up this group, our culture that we've created, right? Or that we're hoping to create. Yeah. Whoever's ready to start us off.
If knowledge is power, I feel the most powerful.
Wow. Hard to beat that. No, it's just been like really cool and just fun.
Informative and energizing.
Dance connects me to my peers.
Oh, girl, I think I should take this mic. But, can you come back to me?
Electric.
I would say life and color.
Open and imaginative.
I'll try. Okay, I'll go. I would say creative and educated.
I am just continually inspired by you all.
I would say always learning.
Also, don't judge a book by its cover. That's a part to the lasting authenticity.